Hello and welcome to another episode of Toya Talks Wrestling. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Kickoff press conference for Raw going to Netflix. WWE had a press conference yesterday at their headquarters in Connecticut. The press conference was a little under an hour. I think it was like 52 or 53 minutes, something like that. It was a really good press conference. I really enjoyed it. And we're going to talk about some of the things that happened there and my thoughts and everything else like that. So let's go ahead and get into it. So in the beginning of the press conference, you had Michael Cole. Michael Cole basically introduced himself and talked about how he has been one of the voices for the WWE, one of the announcers, and for like over 20 plus years and stuff like that. How honored he is to just be able to work for that long for the company and everything else. And he introduced Triple H and called this the whole Triple H era. And he introduced Triple H, and Triple H had came out and basically was just talking about how, like, this is not just my era, this is everyone else's era, because they had an audience and they're shouting Triple H. It was beautiful. And he just talked about how this move to Netflix is going to be huge and it's going to be a big ordeal and everything else, and how proud he is of the talent that he has, like not only on screen but behind the screen as well and everything else. And he talked about WrestleMania. The road to WrestleMania will start on January 6th and that debut on Raw on Netflix. And then, of course, he asked the crowds, are they ready? Because, he has to do that. But, yeah. It was great. And then Michael Cole introduced Adam Pearce. And Adam Pearce came out. And Adam Pearce was like, you heard the rumors. And the rumors are true. Which I didn't hear this rumor. But apparently there was a rumor. And Adam Pearce introduced the new member of the Raw roster, Logan Paul. So now Logan Paul will be on Raw, coming when they go on Netflix or whatever. And Logan Paul basically came out and he's like, oh yeah, everyone looks great. Well, not everybody looks great. I'm glad to be here. We're all blessed, and this move to Netflix is going to be amazing and all this other stuff. And he talked about how he was watching the product from home, watching SmackDown, watching Raw, watching the PLEs. It was funny, right? Because when he was talking, right, some guy in like the audience was like, "No, you haven't. No, you don't. No, it wasn't." I was like, just heckling the crap out of him. It was crazy. Anyways, he basically talking about how he's gonna go after titles and everything else, and that he's gonna probably go after the heavyweight title and take that title away from whoever has that title. Right now it's Gunther and stuff like that. And he's like, they call him a bully. He goes, damn right I'm a bully, And he basically was like talking all this. He was being Logan Paul, right? He was being Logan Paul. As far as like Logan Paul going for the heavyweight championship, I would not be surprised if Logan Paul, and I don't know if it will be this year, because as of right now, there is no one person that they are focusing on, as far as it looks like anyway, to win the Rumble for 2025. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Logan Paul who wins the Rumble. I mean, I don't want that to happen. I really don't, because I really don't like Logan Paul, but I will give Logan Paul credit. He is a very great athlete and he's very good at what he does, but man, I don't know how I feel if he would win the Royal Rumble. I really don't. But I could see it happening. I don't know if it's this year, but I could definitely see it happening. Yeah, but anyways, yeah. That was it. They took a bunch of pictures and stuff like that. So then Michael Cole had Adam Pearce stay on the stage because this is where they introduced Rhea Ripley. And Rhea Ripley, came out. Michael Cole basically asked her about, her being in the Indies and her life in Australia and how how does it feel to be, one of the big stars now in WWE when you worked your way up into the, WWE, like how does it feel and everything else. And, she basically explains like, like humble beginnings and how she always dreamed of being in WWE, and now she's like one of the biggest stars in WWE, and she's just really grateful and all this other stuff. And then Michael Cole asked her, like, when you hear the name Raquel, what do you think? And Rhea Ripley's like, well, I think she's a backstabbing friend, and Liv Morgan should probably watch her back around her. And he asked about Dominic Mysterio, and then she's basically like, well, you know what I called him on Monday, so that's basically what I think about him. I thought he was a man, and it turns out he was just a child who wants his chicken tendies. And then he asked about Liv Morgan, and then of course she basically just called Liv Morgan a coward, saying that Liv Morgan couldn't be able to fight her face to face. She always had to have somebody in front of her or behind her. Usually it's Raquel or whatever, but yeah. So then here comes Liv, Raquel, and Dominic Mysterio, and they come out, and Michael Cole gave Liv Morgan a compliment, say, it's 2024, you was like your year, you were the first crown jewel champion, and you've been champion 200 and something days and everything else like that. Goes, can I give you some advice? And she's like, no, but go ahead. Like, you would be such a better person and such a better superstar if you would have dropped those two, pointing at Raquel and Dominic and the rest of the Judgment Day, if you just go on your own. And he was like, wow, Michael Cole, are you jealous? Are you jealous that you don't have family and you don't have friends, you don't know anything or whatever? Like, whatever. And she's like, that's sad. And basically, she starts telling the audience how that she is their women's champion, and she beat like Io, and she retired Becky Lynch, and all this other stuff like that. And I'm like, we're talking about Becky Lynch, and I'm still thinking that Becky Lynch should be the guest referee for this match. That's just me, I don't know if I'm the only person who thinks that, but I really do think that when Becky Lynch comes back, she should be the special guest referee. Anyways, then Adam Pearce comes in, and he's like, it's going to be official that we already knew this was going to happen, but now it's official that Liv Morgan will defend her title against Rhea Ripley at January 6th when Raw debuts on Netflix. It's not like something kind of a big surprise. We already knew that was going to happen and everything else like that. Then Rhea Ripley was like basically saying that she's just going to take that title away, and she's going to have nothing left and all that stuff like that. I'll be glad when this whole feud is over. I think we all will be glad. I don't mean probably not the Liv Morgan fans, but whatever, they'll get over it. I think maybe Liv Morgan should just be the leader of Judgment Day when they finally kick out Finn. I think she would be a great leader for that group. So that's what I think. But yeah, that was that. And then we had a segment where Michael Cole was about to talk about the OTC and Solo, the whole tribal combat incident, but instead you had Kevin Owens coming from like the balcony or the top part of the headquarters thing where they were at, and he was basically like, why isn't the WWE, the real WWE champion, not invited to this press conference? That's really ridiculous. I have to sneak my way into the press conference because I wasn't invited, and by the way, terrible security, and get a microphone so people can hear what I have to say. And then Michael Cole's like, well, you're not the champion, you're delusional and everything else. Basically, they're going back and forth and all this other stuff. And Kevin Owens had the title, like the Eagle Wing title and stuff like that, and it was hilariously funny. Basically, he's like, I should have been invited to this. I should have been invited to this press conference. I am the champion. And it's like, yeah. And then security finally comes in. It's like, you have to go. And Kevin goes, I have to go. It's like, fine, I'll go. And Michael Cole's like, you're delusional. That's the man who pile drive Cody Rhodes, whereas Cody Rhodes is now injured and stuff like that. So then Kevin Owens leaves, and then Michael Cole starts talking about the whole match for the Ulafala and the tribal combat, and he introduces Solo. Solo comes in with Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. And he's like basically saying, "Are you prepared for this match and everything else like that?" And basically ask how how the other guys feel. He asked Tama Tonga how do you feel about Solo going into this match? And Tama Tonga was like, "Shh, yeah." And Michael Cole's like, "Okay, interesting response. What about you, Jacob Fatu? How do you feel about Solo going into this, tribal combat?" And the audience was like, "I love you, Solo." And then, Jacob said, "I love you, Solo." And Michael Cole's like, "Oh, okay, good, okay." And then he's like asking Solo, like, "How do you feel about going into this match?" And Solo's basically like, I have no fear. I am the tribal chief because I have the Ulafala. Which means I'm their tribal chief, points the obvious, and I'm your tribal chief, and stuff like that. And that's when Paul Heyman comes out, say, "Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman." And he basically was like saying, like, this ain't like no ordinary match, because it's not about like he named the like Yokozuna, Umaga, and all these other people and everything else. And it's not about Tama Tonga. It's not about Jacob Fatu. It's not about the Usos. It's about Solo, and who I think is the original tribal chief, the OTC, Roman Reigns. So he even mentions about, like, it's not even about the favor that I needed to give to CM Punk and all this other stuff. It's like, you're gonna go one-on-one with the tribal chief on this day, and there's gonna be one true tribal chief, and there's gonna be a wannabe tribal chief. Now, I'm really excited. I'm glad they're doing this on, like I said, on Netflix, on that Raw, because I don't think it's PLE worthy, but I honestly think that it is going to be interrupted because there's no rules, there's no disqualifications. So does Roman Reigns get the Ulafala back? Because does like the Usos come and help him? Does The Rock come and help Solo? Like Jacob and Tama Tonga are gonna come help and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm sure The Rock is going to be there. We already know The Rock is going to be there. Does The Rock play part? I have no idea. But I'm guaranteeing, like, the Usos will probably come out there. And I'm guaranteeing that Jacob and Tama Tonga are going to be out there for sure. But as far as The Rock, I don't know what he's going to do. People are always even saying that maybe that Drew McIntyre comes out and then takes the Ulafala from both of them and then gives it to The Rock. I don't know. That's interesting. That's an interesting thought process, I guess, like you could say. Like I said, I don't know. We'll find out on January 6th. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what's going to happen. So then we had another segment where Michael Cole was like, we didn't think this person was coming, but he ended up coming anyway, and it was Gunther. Gunther came in, and I don't know if he was scheduled or not scheduled, but they said he wasn't scheduled. Anyways, he came in and he basically talked about, how like Michael Cole, complimented him about how 80% of his time in WWE he's been champion, which he has been, which is a freaking incredibly amazing. Then he talks about like how Logan Paul basically challenged him for his title, and Gunther was like, Logan Paul is a good athlete and everything else like that, but he's not him, and he would love to just smack the smirk off his face, which in this case I'll be like, yes, please do, Mr. Gunther, please smack the smirk off of that boy's face. But like I said, it looks like they're planting that seed. I'm telling you, they are planting that seed. Cause think about it. As far as like Royal Rumble is concerned, who's gonna be the winner? Like who would be the winner? Who would be like? They're not really pushing anybody. You know what I'm saying? So I can see, I'm like, oh man, I don't know. It hurts my stomach. Anyway, so then we finally get to main event for Monday, January 6th on Netflix. We get CM Punk and Seth Rollins. So Michael Cole introduces CM Punk. CM Punk is wearing like a suit and everything. He dressed to the nines. He dressed in fancy and everything else like that. And Michael Cole asks about obviously about Seth Rollins and stuff like that, and what's gonna happen in the future and stuff. And CM Punk goes, I don't want to talk about that. I'll talk about the past. When you have two people who are very similar, which I think that they are, Seth Rollins and CM Punk are very similar, and you have similar things, you're gonna have problems because there's only room for one. You know what I mean? And I would not be surprised if eventually Seth Rollins moves to SmackDown. I don't know when, but I wouldn't be surprised that happened. But anyways, basically he talked about how they're similar and everything else, and how this other stuff, and he's just ready to fight him and everything else. And then Michael Cole introduced Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins comes out, and people are singing his music and everything else. He had like a red coat on. He took the red coat off. He dropped the microphone. He says, "I'm done talking. Talk is over. Talk is cheap." Like, CM Punk is like on the side and everything else, and Seth Rollins is like, "Why are you doing way over there? Why don't you come a little closer, right? And when you act like stop acting a little bitch or something like that." And he's like, "This is my house now. This is the house that I built. You left. This is my house." And the crowd was like chanting, like, for him, and then they start chanting for CM Punk. I think the audience is going to be really conflicted on who they want to go with. I mean, I think eventually Seth Rollins is going to turn heel, because he's doing more and more. He's looking more and more like his Messiah, Seth Rollins, and stuff like that. So I don't know if he's bringing that back, but he's definitely probably going to be the heel in the situation, I think. Basically, so this CM Punk, he's about to say something, drops the mic, and he gets in, Seth Rollins' face, and he's like, "Yeah, let's go right now, And then calls him, he pushes him, and then, they start going at it, and then Adam Pearce and Triple H pretty much break them up and everything. And Seth Rollins goes, "Yeah, I'll see you on January 6th and stuff like that." And he pretty much left, and that was pretty much the end of the press conference. And it was, like I said, a little bit under an hour. It was a really good press conference. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait for Netflix. It's going to be amazing. I don't know what else they're gonna have there on this show, but I don't want to know everything. I want some surprises. I kind of want some things to be surprised. I don't want to know everything. I just that's why I'm trying to stay offline and stuff like that, and not read too much into like the wrestling stuff and everything, because like some people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna spoil it for everybody." I'm just like, nah. But I can't wait. I'm excited. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so amazing. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Okay, bye.